Greetings, Dr. Mendes here. I want to take a quick opportunity to walk you through the ADDIE model. And we're talking about course design, course development. The ADDIE model is very commonly used. It's an instructional systems design model broken down into 5 phases, looking at analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. It really does provide a strong structure, and the process is very linear as far as the step-by-step procedures and who's involved and what needs to be done in order to produce a high-quality product. So A is for analysis, and during this analysis phase, you really are analyzing where you are versus where you want to be. And with that, you're going to have a gap analysis, and this will help you determine what is needed to fill that gap and to get you where you want to be. So when we're designing curriculum, maybe it's an older curriculum, older course, we want to develop something, we want to add new features, maybe interactives, technology, whatever it may be. This is where it's determined. You're determining what exactly is needed in order to make a product that you want, that's going to be best for your organization. With that, you look at relevant stakeholders. Who's involved? Who needs to be part of this process? What's their role? What's their responsibility? What's their contribution? And then you also look at your audience. Who are your learners? Is this a K-12? Is this an undergrad, a graduate, a doctoral level program? Are we looking at teachers? Are we looking at possibly firemen or policemen? We look at the audience. We look at who's going to be taking in this content, and that'll help us determine how exactly we want to deliver it. So when we look at delivery options, is this going to be face-to-face? Are we going to have technology built in? Is it going to be some sort of hybrid? How exactly are we going to deliver this content? And again, technology in our world plays such a relevant role there in determining how exactly we can enhance instruction and effectively deliver that content. And then, of course, your timeline. What is your timeline for completion? You should have frequent check-ins. This goes hand in hand with your stakeholders as well. Who's going to take part? Who's going to take leadership roles? And who's going to monitor and supervise that process from start to finish? Next, we have D is for design. So now that we have our ideas, we have where we want to go, we have our delivery options, we have our timeline. Now we have to figure out how exactly we're going to design this. With that, we're going to have your instructional strategies, your events, your activities, what exactly that looks like, always making sure that we're addressing the different domains, cognitive, more of that academic, the affective, that social, emotional, and psychomotor, that kinesthetic, that hands-on. And this is where we start storyboarding. This is where we start creating that story. We start putting it into some sort of digital format or sometimes even paper pencil. But this is where the creation starts to develop and evolve. What that interface looks like, again, this is going to depend whether it's going to be face-to-face or there's going to be some technology built into it. But what exactly is that learner going to see from their perspective? And then your visual, your graphic design, this goes hand in hand with that storyboarding as well. And with this, you're creating a prototype, something that we can look at, we can see, and we can figure out how exactly we're going to take this product and implement. So next, your D is for development, and this is really where the product is developed. We have our prototype, we have our ideas, we have our storyboard. Now we're going to take it and we're going to put it into practice. We are going to apply it. We're going to integrate any relevant technologies, any interactives. Again, I stated technology is so important. Interactives go hand in hand with that psychomotor, that kinesthetics, because even in an online world, we can use interactives where we're not just reading or listening to content, but we are physically interacting with that content. And this is also where beta testing comes into play, whether it may be individuals part of the curriculum design or development team, maybe outside instructors or other ed professionals or specialists or subject matter experts in the field. They're going to test this, they're going to review it, they're going to analyze it, they're going to offer feedback, right? And then based on this feedback, the team is going to determine, does it need to be altered? Does it need to be adjusted? Does it need to be revised? And then once that product is in place and it's sound, now we're talking about I is for implementation. We're going to implement it. We're going to make it live, right? Prior to making it live, and when we do step-by-step this implementation phase, we want to make sure that our staff, our faculty, even our learners are properly trained, that they understand the relevance, the importance, the value of the curriculum that was just designed. It should not be done in a silo. So we want to make sure those who are instructing, those who are teaching these courses, certainly understand the course, the curriculum, the learning objectives, the learning outcomes, different delivery methods, so they know how they can best enhance the testing, the assessments that are integrated throughout the course or throughout the program, and then certainly any relevant technology. Technology is wonderful, but it's only as good as that individual who's implementing it, right? So we want our instructors, our teachers to understand the process, the procedures, the technologies, so they can effectively employ and implement. And then, of course, you want to make sure that any necessary materials are there. They're ready for implementation. You certainly would not consider implementation without having the necessary materials. And then last but not least, your E is for evaluation. How is everything going? Are you making headway? Are you making progress? Is it going well? What are your instructors saying? What does leadership say? What are the students saying, right? Often we are constantly evaluating, surveying our students to make sure that it is a good, positive learning experience. We look at formative assessments and evaluations as the program is being implemented, so we can possibly make any adjustments along the way. And then your summative evaluation typically is some sort of milestone or after a instructional block. This might be after a course, a semester, possibly a year, to determine how things went throughout that course of time. And then based on that, you're going to analyze and you're going to implement any feedback, making sure that you are hitting your outcomes, that everything is productive, it's effective, and if not, that your team is making the necessary adjustments along the way, again, to enhance that instructional, that learning, that teaching process, and making sure that it is a good learner experience.